Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, today's Bhagavad Gita class. It's resuming. We are coming on back. We apologize for some delay. It's been some time. There's been many causes for that, but we are back. So we are not. We're continuing. We should never stop talking about Bhagavad Gita. We are today, as like everyone remembers, we did 13th chapter. We started and restarted, and we are somewhere in the middle. In text 13, we just finished one of the longest purports of the texts 8 to 12, and now we are text 13. So we're gonna go. I suggest we're not gonna read all that we're gonna cover today because we're not sure how much we'll cover. So we just go verse by verse and see how far we get, and we'll see. So Namo Vishnu Pada Krishna Bhastaya Bhuta Shmate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacha Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pashtita Dishatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Namo Vishnu Pada Krishna Bhastaya Bhuta Shmate Vishesha Karine Nama Prasha Prabhupada Shastra Bhajana Chodine. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. So, hi, Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Welcome. So, starting from, there's a chapter 13 in Bhagavad Gita. Its title is Nature, Danger, and Consciousness. So, just to start off briefly, because we haven't been studying for a while. So, the 13th chapter is after 12th chapter, right? Okay, that was easy. But just to go, what's the difference now? It's chapter 12 just finished the part of bhakti, where the bhakti is the main topic. Although bhakti is the overarching overall topic in the Gita, but more specifically, it's in the midst section. It's like a sandwich. It touches the karma, the first 6th chapter, and the last 6 chapters, jnana, which we're starting now. Well, now we did. So we are somewhere in the description of what is jnana, or knowledge. So just some connection between these two sections. It's quite important. So like I said, this section is called Jnana section, but it's overall it's the bhakti, because many different paths, they would talk about or mention jnana as there being, you need to have a knowledge. You need to have knowledge for liberation, for self-realization, emancipation, all these different words they use. But as it will be revealed, that Krishna reveals that, and acharyas, all this knowledge without at least some bhakti, it won't bring any result. So even for jnanis, even for jnana, those who follow the path of knowledge, or pure knowledge, without bhakti, things are unsuccessful, even materially. If you don't put any love and you just know things, somehow things won't go completely to the, you won't manifest completely the result. So even there we see, so you have to put your heart in, to have your love. You need to, so what do they mean? You have to put heart in, you have to be there, you have to like what you do, love what you do. So we also, it's also obvious here. So this is the reason bhakti is in between. So we just finished. So it touches both. So you need to have in karma, in actions, and in knowledge. You need to have this devotion and this attitude of loving service. So, and to just recap 13 chapter. Sorry, we're going back to 13 beginning. So, but we know where we are. Arjuna starts with asking questions. Anyone remembers? There were 6 questions. So there were he just shoots all 6 questions. So we need to just hear them. I'll be quick. He says, Arjuna Vacha, Prakritim Purusham, Chaiva Kshetram Kshetragyam, Etat Veditum Ichami Jnanam Jneyam Cha Keshava. So you see, all these things are here that he asked. Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetram, Kshetragyam, Jnanam Jneyam. All these 6 items he asked. Veditum, I would like to know about these 6 things. And Krishna already described few items. He starts immediately, text second. Shri Bhagavan Vacham, idam sharira kanteya kshetram. So he starts explaining about the field. Kshetra means the field. So first I explain about kshetra, which is like body is the main field where we reap our karma. And so on. Okay, so I'm not gonna, so just the last section, which was really important, that's why we had to do it twice, 8 to 12. Amanitum adabitvam ahimsa Kshanti Arjavam. That was the knowledge. There was a section about knowledge. And we stressed that knowledge, well, Krishna stresses, this is the real knowledge, all these qualities, starting with amanitvam, which is humility. This is the basis and the foundation of all the knowledge. If you don't have all this, and at the end he says, I declare this to be knowledge, all these items. Not the knowledge that we think, we say it's knowledge, information. That's not considered knowledge in a real sense. Knowledge. Anyway, okay, just quick. So where we are, and now the 13. Please, yeah, some light. Let there be light. Krishna will talk about light also. Or Krishna is the source of light. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I like to see. See how we are useless without help, because as soon as becoming dark, not be able to see. So, and behind all the everything, but specifically with light, there's Krishna. And he says, actually, if we skip, okay, we'll get there. He mentions that. So now we have verse 13. So we can, you have it open. So I'll just read. We can do together, Sanskrit, or if you want. Geyam yattat pravakshami yachnatva amritam ashnute anadi mat param brahma nasat tan nasat uchate. I shall now explain knowable, knowing which you will taste the eternal. Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. So this is kind of starting a new section, because this starts explaining, answering. Krishna starts answering the, I think it was question 5 or 6. So Krishna didn't go answering questions all in the same order as Arjuna asked, but there's a reason why. Of course, there's always a reason why. It will be also clear if you see the whole picture. So the knowable. We're talking now about Gneyam. I think this is number 6, the last thing, the last object, the last item Arjuna asked Krishna, what is knowable? And so he wants to know what's knowable, what's that object to be known, and that's Brahman. So that's Brahman. In the Brahman, the spirit. Brahman means the spirit, and is Anadi. Anadi means beginningless. So that means there was no history of date when manifestation happened. So the Brahman, which is equal to Atma, equal to soul, the spirit, is beginningless. It has no beginning and is, here it says, subordinate to me. Lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Yeah. So it means the spirit is not affected by the material nature. Although, we will also, later on there'll be more, although it acts as, or it seems like it is, right? Seems like it is, but just because of misidentification. So, because the body is part of this world, or is part of this material creation, by misidentifying with this construct, with this body and mind, he also feels that these transformations and these sufferings and enjoyments of the body and mind. And but this is not true for the Brahman, the spirit, who actually we are, and that's all been explained at the beginning. That's the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. It's a lot. The whole chapter, or lots of the chapter, is describing the nature of the soul. Soul cannot be killed, cannot be dried, cannot be wetted, cannot be. It's beginningless, and I don't know the verses, but you know, you heard it. You have some idea. We want to go back. So here at the end of this purport, we usually don't read the purports, which is really shame here. But some section I will read of purports. They are really good. Everything is good. So here Brahman. So okay, this is really important. Brahman mentioned in this verse refers to individual soul, which I said. And that Brahman is called also Vijnana Brahman. That's at the end. You'll see just at the end of this page. So this Brahman word is applied to living entity. It is to be understood that he is Vijnana Brahma, as opposed to Ananda Brahma. Ananda Brahma is the supreme Brahman personality of Godhead. So we have to know, has to be clear to us about what Brahman we are talking, Krishna's talking. So here is explained by Prabhupada. Acharyas explain. If you go, all the acharyas they mention, all the Vaishnava acharyas. Of course, these are the verses here. They're really liked by also other acharyas from the Nirvisheshavadis, calling the impersonalists. They like this because Brahman, this is us. We are beginningless. We are, and later we will see many verses they like to use other impersonalists, but they wouldn't then state, or is Brahman here's Vijnana Brahman, or is it Ananda Brahman? They just say Brahman, 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 Brahman. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm Brahman, yes, Brahman, he's Brahman, and Supreme is Brahman, but we are Brahman, it's just Brahman, it's all one. So that's they like this section. Of course, this is Jnana section, which is especially studied and little twisted by the other schools. So we have here some support from Upanishads, which also in person is like. I'm not sure if it's here, but it's here. Najayate mriyate va vipaschit kat Upanishad. This means knower of body has no birth and death, but is full of knowledge. It talks about the soul. So the two knowers of body, the two gneyam. Okay, so now verse 14. Sarvata pani padam tat, sarvato kshishiro mukham, sarvata shrutimaloke, saram avritya tishtati. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way the Supersoul exists, pervading everything. So now, I have to know another Brahman, which is Supersoul here. So it's the all the acharyas agree. This is, and it's also logical if you just see from the verse. Everywhere are his hands, legs, and all that. So how could it be possible for the individual being to have his hands? He has hands limited to his body, right? So, and everything else, right? And Supersoul, or that Parabrahman, a Paramatma in this case, is exists in all, has hands and legs everywhere, because he's within every living being. So it means his hands and legs are his. It's also another point is all that every individual owns and thinks that it's his, it's actually God's. So he say like these are his hands and legs and his eyes. So he sees through all of that what we use. So this is the explanation of the Prabhupada, or this is the gist here. And so this is then the real knowledge. This is then the real knowledge that these hands, legs, eyes, beards, or heads, faces, this belongs to Krishna. This is part of the real knowledge. So this is the kind of simple section. kind of in a way simple section, because you're just describing this what we among our circles know a lot. Later on, it will be a little bit complicated. So yeah, that's bhakti, to become liberated from these false kind of designations, or like I'm this, I'm that, and this is mine. Ahamamiti, I and mine, and my body, my leg. Say, my leg, my head hurts.
False impression.
It's false impression. It's not, we carry it, but it's not. Ultimately, it's not ours. It's Krishna's. So, and when we become purified, we understand. This is Krishna's leg, and the pure devotee knows this is Krishna's head, this is Krishna's eyes, and treats everything in the way like that. This is Krishna's energy, this is Krishna's energy. This is highest Krishna's energy, and this is what we see around the what is immovable and it's not conscious. It's also the energy of Krishna. And that will also be talked later on. Two types of energies. Yeah. So yeah, Brahman has unlimited limbs of all living entities. And I said other commentators, they avoid this a lot. So you can read there. You don't want to read, but if you read, I think I did, and I heard others that did. They just keep on using the same. There's no, and Prabhupada goes straight to the point. He just says, "This is what it is. This is." For Prabhupada, it's so great. There's no meandering, like going around, and it just goes to the point. What you need to know, what's actually, and substantiates by scriptural references. So no, it's not just hearsay or someone's revelation. Like I understand. Like I got it, or somehow it has to feel. I feel it. It's substantiated, which is really important. Okay, we fly through. Maybe we'll get to the chapter 4. What is 40? No, I'm joking. 15. Sarvendriya gunabhasham, sarvendriya vivarjitam, asaktam sarvabricchaiva, nirgunam gunabhoktricham. The Supersoul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time he is the master of all the modes of material nature. You understand this is quite, in a way, contradictory, right? This. He's the source of senses, but he's without senses, and he's unattached, but he maintains, and he transcends, but then he's the master of nature. So he's like kind of a mystical person, huh? This guy. Controversial. So yeah, I think this is one of the verses that's really liked by the Nirvisheshavadis. They like this. They like these mysterious verses, and they say, yeah. Of course, they wouldn't go then in other places when Krishna then reveals or explains more. So what does this mean? He doesn't have. He's without senses. I mean, he's. What would you say? Hmm?
Like in living entities, they have material senses, but he doesn't.
Yeah, that's what it means. Yes, exactly. That's what it means. He's not without senses, without material senses. He has spiritual senses. Yeah, that's what it means. So we have this is a lot here. It's also a lot substantiated by Upanishads. So there's lots of verses. If you can just scan through, you'll see this section is quite technical. All the 13th chapter is kind of technical, so it's referencing the Upanishads. So this is confirmed. That's why it's used. I like this one from the Kena Upanishad. It says, "He is the eye of the eye. He is the original eye.
He is the source of all sensory activities.
He is the source of all." And then Shvedashvara Upanishad, "Supreme has no hands which are materially contaminated, but he accepts what has been offered to him." So I see, he has no hands, but he accepts. But he has no hands which are materially contaminated, so he has, and he can. He says that transcendental means he can accept by anything, not just by. It doesn't have to be like we accept. So in the same way, like continuing in this, he's also not to be seen. Not to be seen. We cannot see him. Again, because with material eyes, you cannot see him. You can say he's unseen. Yes, by material eyes, but he's seen by spiritual vision, or by. Although there are two ways to be seen here: by knowledge. You can know him by knowledge, by knowing him, or by love. Then you really see him as also externally, like as really see him eye to eye. Or you can see within the knowledge, as the jnanis would be permitted to see. Those who just study and have little bhakti, and then you can know him within the mind, but not as a person. Yeah, so here you can mention the energies, the internal energy. So he appears by internal energy and manifests his external energy as the nature, as living beings, as Tatashta Shakti, as marginal energy. That's it. 16. Bahir antascha bhutanam acharam charam evacham sukshmatvat tat avikyeyam durastam chantike chatat. The Supreme Truth exists outside and inside of all living beings, the moving and the non-moving. Because he is subtle, he is beyond the power of the material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. So also this we also mentioned already. For material senses, he is unknown. But he is something interesting. This is the sanction of Gyam, then what's to be known. But here's interesting then, the word, or the interesting point is avigyam. So we're talking about Gyam, but he's avigyam. So he's avigyam, where is the translation? Unknown, unknowable. So we're talking about so Arjun's asking, can you explain about the knowable? What is to be known? So he's unknowable. But again, he's unknowable to the materialist. He's not knowable to the. I think will be later on. There's a word like bhakta, mad bhakta. Yeah, here it is. 19. Mad bhakta etad vijnana. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. So then Krishna then says that only my devotee was dedicated and knows me. So there was a lecture of Prabhupada's. I have like few points from Prabhupada's lecture in 1973, or maybe I think from side, or maybe it's from somewhere else. So he was saying that you must do tapas, or austerity, or penance, to see Krishna, both outside and inside. Yeah. So inside would be that Paramatma, that yogis do, or within the mind as being like knowing, like Brahman is everything. You need to also do penance, as Gyanis do, and outside. There's devotees would see outside, kind of as the relationship with the Supreme, having like see him as a person face to face. And then Prabhupada goes, if you can see Krishna, it's not here, it's in the lecture, anta within and bahi outside, then your all tapasya finished. That means then when you see, then that's your tapasya is finished, then it's gone. You don't have to, you stop it. You're perfect now. No more tapasya. So tapasya, it's needed. So here Prabhupada stresses that we need to do some austerity for it. We do austerity for other causes, for other means. We get some Lakshmi, some money, cash, and some you want to have some whatever, some nice trip or etc. To do some austerity, to go to work we don't like or something. And but if you want the highest, you also want to do austerity of a different kind. You have to do maybe a little bit more, not maybe, has to be uninterrupted and unmotivated. This kind of austerity or this bhakti. It should be a bhakti austerity. It should be with love. That should develop. Yeah. So, where are we at? Yeah, although he's far away, he's also near to all. I think one of the acharyas says, he's millions of miles away for the ignorant, but for the enlightened, he as the super soul is closer than person living in the same house. I think it was Chakravarti Thakur that says this. Yeah, that's what it means here. Although far away, but it can be also, you can also say there are two ways of saying far away. He's in a spiritual world. He's far, far away because we are far, far away here. But he's also near because he's as a super soul. He's near to all. That's what it means. So he's closer than a person living in the same house. For the enlightened, because he sees he's also in everyone else who is ignorant. But the ignorant, they don't know. So that's not. There's no reciprocation. There's no interaction. Then. So there's one just from Isha Upanishads. There's the same thing. Same thing is. I said. Same thing is used. Actually, almost the same. Same words are used. That's from Isha Upanishad's 5th verse. It says, "The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything, and yet he is outside of everything." Same words. Tat dure, tat vantike. That's just for the scholars. That's me. So 17. Let's go on. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam iva cha shtitam bhuttam bhartri cha tat gyeyam grasishnu prabhavishnu cha. Although the super soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devours and develops all. So he appears to be divided. But he's not. And Prabhupada then explains the famous analogy is the sun. He's shining on all the objects, so you get so he's reflected, so to speak. You can say reflected, and but he remains one. Sun is always the one. Same for the moon. He's always one. You see reflection. There was Prabhupada was taking his son out, and it was night, and not sure how old was the son, but he was young, definitely. He said after a while, he said, "Dad," not sure he said "Dad," like to Prabhupada. He said, "Baba," maybe, or how they call it. He said, "The moon is following us." But he was in ignorance. He was in ignorance. He didn't know, the small child. He looked and said, everywhere we go, the moon is there. So yeah, moon or sun is always there. Is one is everywhere. It just appears to be maybe not there or divided in Indian sun or Irish sun, etc. It's not. It's one sun. This is the analogy here, and another analogy is maybe more pertinent or more used here is the water pots and the sun. I mean, it's the same thing, but just the water pots are there, and the sun reflects, and you can see the individual sun in every pot. But it's not that sun is there, that's there, but sun is still there. So it's just a reflection. So it's divided, but it's not divided. That's the. And it's a simple analogy. You can say expanded. We say the Supreme Personality of Godhead expands himself. You wouldn't say reflect or expands himself into the form of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, it's called, or Antaryami, or Sakshi. Sakshi, the witness, the maintainer. I think Antaryami, not sure, but means the super soul or Paramatma, the witness, the guide. But as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, he is situated in one place, in Shvetadvip. So he's like both. He's as himself, he's there, but his expansion, he is within every living being, as the accompanies living being. As the example is from Upanishads, two parrots sitting on a branch. One is the enjoyer of fruits, or tasting the fruits of the tree, and the other one is just observing. So that's the super soul and the Antaryami. In that sense, in that example, it's Paramatma is called Antaryami. So another word. Interesting, in this universe, there are two Shvetadvips. One is in spiritual world, when Krishna goes there also, and one is within this world, which is Dhruvaloka. Also, in Dhruvaloka there's Shvetadvip. Dhruvaloka or pole star. Or there's some specifically astronomically you can say, this constellation, and then the modern terminology, which I don't have now, but there's you can point. There's the Shvetadvip. Shishumar also, it's called in other texts. Shishumar. I think more astrological. It's called Shishumar. 18. Jyotisham api tat jyotish tamasa paramuchyate jnanam gyayam gyanagyamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge, and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. So yeah, we said before there's a verse when we switched on the light. So now Krishna was talking about that, about himself as the super soul, that he is the source of light. Which we need this source of light, external source of light, as the sun or the moon or the electricity only here materially, because otherwise we'll be in darkness. We've been. These luminaries they have been manifested for that purpose. And do you think in spiritual world there is sun, there is moon, like in Vaikuntha, Goloka? Would that be or not? Yes.
Must be.
Must be. Yes, must be.
Must be.
Must be, cannot be, if we have it. Yeah. But then we know also that there's no need. Oh, there's self-luminous. The Vaikunthas are self-effulgent. They are producing. They don't need suns. But then why would they have? The suns are. We have sun, so they should have sun. So they do have sun. Yeah. Krishna is like description. There is sun, there is moon, but actually it's funny. It's not needed. As Krishna is the source. It's not that he needs another sun, because he is the source of the effulgence. So he just there for, maybe we would say romantic kind of. He's just kind of there, so it's setting and everything's nice, and the moon is there. That's actually, he just puts it there. It's not. It could be just without everything. It's like Krishna doesn't need all these trees and all and rivers and what is needed for what is. But is there for the variety, for the scenery, for the pleasure, for the enjoyment. It's there. It's like, nice warmth of the sun, but there's no need, the sun doesn't give warmth there, like in that sense that it gives here. That's the big difference. So Brahma Jyoti, which is the effulgence of the Krishna's body, produces that light and heat, which then the sun is then how to say, holds that potency. It's also called Surya Narayan. It's the representation of the Lord as Surya. But because it's covered, this Brahma Jyoti is covered by Mahatattva, these layers, then we need the sun. Sun carries that part of that effulgence. It's in sun, but Brahma Jyoti is much different. Cannot describe. I don't know, but it's really brighter, I guess. So we talked about light. He's beyond darkness, and beyond darkness, and he's unmanifested. He is knowledge, object of knowledge, and goal of knowledge. Only by knowing him, one can surpass birth and death. And he's situated in everyone's heart. So this we described. He is different from the soul. There are two knowers of the soul. Two knowers. We started at the beginning. The two Gyas, two knowers. One is the soul. One is the super soul. And he has hands and legs everywhere. But Jiva's hands and legs are localized. And there's one word. I'll just stop here with this word. It's really nice. Jnana Gamyam. Jnana Gamyam. To be approached by knowledge. He's accessible, perceivable by knowledge. So this I mentioned before, that he's called Jnana, or the Lord, when he's situated in the Chitta Vritti, the mind. And he's called Jnana when he's in the form outside. So for devotees, or for the philosophers, they can perceive him as Jnana. The Lord is Jnana, which I said before, as in the mind, as if they have some of the bhakti, if they somehow get some of that. 19. Iti kshetram tata jnanam jneyam choktam samasata mad bhakta etat vikyaya mat bhavayopapadyate. Thus the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. This is conclusion on Jneyam, on the knowable. Krishna explains it, what is knowable, what is to be known, is the soul and super soul. So here is soul and super soul. Vijnana. So it's so then also Prabhupada then also summarizes in the purport, summarizes that this section says that we spoke about from 13 to 18 Gyayam, soul and super soul, 8 to 12 we spoke about Jnana, process of understanding, and 6 to 7 Kshetra, the field of activity. And also in other places there's also other mentions. So we can just like recap the Gyaya. I have these like few points about what we heard about Gyayam. Maybe if we remember some, we can shout out. Like Gyayam is all pervading. His hands, legs, feet are everywhere. He is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living entities. He is transcendental to the modes of material nature, although he is the master of all modes. Or, how do you call modes? Gunas. Yeah, gunas. He is outside and inside of all living beings. He is subtle, the beyond of perception of material senses. He is undivided, although appears to be divided. He is maintainer of all. He is the source of all knowledge, and he is situated in one's heart. So there was the report of the Gyaya, of the super soul, meaning not the soul. So we'll do this just to leave next time verses, like equal amount of verses, because it finishes 35. We will do maybe few, so the next person next week can do maybe 12, so not 14. That will be, I was thinking, right? Is that okay? To do like few more, just to do, because this is next section, it's 20, it starts about Prakriti and Purusha. So you can do 20, 21, just shortly. Sorry if it feels like I'm rushing, but I can only, it's the only thing I can stay on the surface. So 20. Prakriti Purusham Chaiva Vidyani Anadi Upavapi Vikaramscha Gunamschaiva Vidi Prakriti Sambhavan. Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. So this starts then the section Purusha Prakriti, which that's also beginning of the Sanskrit Prakriti and Purusha. So these are, if you remember, the first and second question Arjuna asked. Prakriti and Purusham. Yes, Prakriti and Purusham Kshetram. So he goes now to the first, because he first explained this. It was needed to first hear this to be talk about Prakriti and Purusham. It's a little more complicated because it's interaction between. Complicated to fully understand. I can see when I was reading, cannot really fully understand, but so okay, first of all, then Anadi is again here, this word Anadi, which we heard before, so means beginningless. But here, before it was living entities or the Gyayam, the soul is beginningless. But here also material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Okay, we can say something about that. Okay, for living entities, for us, for soul, okay, we get it, right? So like the soul, as the bodies are has a beginning and end, but the soul is eternal. But how come material nature? How can we then say material nature to be beginningless. I mean, like we can see that it has beginning and end, like in material nature. We see how the trees and the weather, and it comes to begins and it ends. Why you think we think it's maybe not beginningless? It has the beginning. Here there's the word vikaram. Vikaram means transformations. Because of this, vikarams cha gunams chaiva. Transformations and the three modes of nature. Guna, amsha, chaiva. Yeah. So because of this we conclude. Because of it transforms, because it has different nature, three modes of nature, we conclude that it ends. Like the tree died, and the body, because it's part of material nature, this kind of like elements kind of dies and it ends. So it's not beginningless. But it is like in that sense, we know even the scientists say conservation of energy. So it's all conserves. It goes back to and comes again and goes back to dust or something, and then rises again, like in different forms. So it's just transformation of the energy. So in that sense, beginningless. It's and it's also Krishna's energy, so it can't be not beginningless because it comes from Krishna. So it's also beginningless. So we have to understand it like this, not to say like, well, we are eternal, but nature is not. Nature is also eternal, but it has lots of flux. So, a spirit soul has no transformations. It's eternal. Nature has transformations in gunas, is eternal. Spirit soul has no transformations and no gunas. There's no gunas to the spirit. So there's no tamas, rajas, sattva of the spirit soul. So that's the difference to understand. So before we talked about, what did we talk about? Knowable, yeah. There are two, knowable soul and the super soul. And now we talk about kshetragya. No, we don't talk about kshetragya. We talk about prakriti, purusham. And that's what I want to say. Purusham, and purusham is also soul and super soul, right? You know, why I mention this is because of this verse, because of this sentence. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. The Purusha is actually, the real Purusha is Krishna. But why I'm saying the Jiva is also Purusha? Because it acts like Purusha. It's bound by the material nature. It acts like the enjoyer. Where do I have? We're trying to be Purushas. Yes, that's the point. I will just hear. I think it's from the purport. Oh yeah, the last paragraph. It's really good. So I'm just going to read the last paragraph. Here, really classical Prabhupada, how he packs here, and this you can really influence many by these purports are really jam-packed or really potent. Both material nature and the living entity are eternal. That is to say, that they existed before the creation. The material manifestation is from the energy of the Supreme Lord, and so also are the living entities. But the living entities are of the superior energy. Both the living entities and material nature existed before this cosmos was manifested. Material nature was absorbed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahavishnu, and when it was required, it was manifested by the agency of the Mahatattva. Similarly, the living entities are also in Him, and because they are conditioned, they are averse to serving the Supreme Lord. Thus they are not allowed to enter into the spiritual sky. But with the coming forth of the material nature, these living entities are again given a chance to act in the material world and prepare themselves to enter into the spiritual world. That is the mystery of this material creation. Actually, the living entity is originally the spiritual part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, but due to his rebellious nature, he is conditioned within material nature. It really does not matter how these living entities or superior entities of the Supreme Lord have come in contact with material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead knows, however, how and why this actually took place. Yeah, okay. So, this part. So yeah, there's like here Prabhupada nicely says that it's not to go and trying to figure out how, because only Krishna really knows. We could go like months and years, we're trying to understand why we condition, why we under this material nature, why we under influence of Maya, but it said the scripture, it says that we are part and parcel of the Supreme, and we don't maybe feel like that, we don't feel connection, we're not guided, we don't hear God, we don't see God. Maybe, but it says it's mystery, and we are that, but due to our rebellious nature, we are conditioned. We're conditioned, and we are given this a second chance to then be reconditioned back to Krishna consciousness from our polluted consciousness or Maya consciousness. Yeah. So, and then verse 21, should we go on? After me. So yeah, I'm just gonna say, okay, let's just do quick 21. Then we do 22 to 35 next week. Karya karana ka tritve hetu prakriti uchyate purusha sukha dukhanam bhokritve hetur uchyate. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments of this world. So, nature is the hetu, or is the cause of material causes. So all that body and body and senses are the effect of this nature, of this karma that we're given. But the living entity is caused by its own action, sufferings and enjoyment of this world. Sometimes the living entity blames, why am I suffering? Not when he's enjoying, no one complains, but it's suffering, like, it must not be God, right? When it's suffering, say, here, it can't be God, there's so much suffering. I am suffering. I lost my loved, or I lost my job, or something. So Krishna says this from the beginning of the knowledge. He puts it there for everyone to know that living entity is the cause of his or her own suffering. Yeah, so basically it's all happiness and distress, sufferings and enjoyment. The dualities of this world are there. we see the, you know about the gargoyles? You know these gargoyles? They're like this,
Human body with
they're like a little bit of a devilish looking, like kind of mystical beings of the Western mythology or something. They're gargoyles. They're like, you can see them also in Ireland. In UK and Western culture, you can see them. They're on different roofs or in front of the entrances. Sculptures, yeah, like the statues. They have some kind of they have some wings and they have some little bit of
almost like Garuda, but not Garuda.
kind of like that. But they're not to do with Garuda, nothing to do with Garuda. But it is like, it's funny that in many theaters, like big theaters, would have these two statues or drama, and one gargoyle would be a happy gargoyle, another would be a sad gargoyle. So it presents the material world as the happiness, as the distress. So it's kind of there within the old tradition of everywhere. That at least that it's been realized. It's good and bad, you know. Once you're a happy gargoyle, another time you're a sad gargoyle. But not knowing what is the cause, that they're digging their own hole. They're cause of their own effects. They are their own cause of their effects, and they should go to Krishna or any of the scriptures that are that reveal the knowledge, to be able to transcend it, to be able to put this to stop, because of course what moves a living being is that enjoyment in this world that he or she gets. But this is not the real enjoyment which we are hankering for. This is not the enjoyment of the soul. That's why it's also enjoyment of this world is not satisfying, but it's just some sort of like like a crumb or something like a crumb. It's how it's compared to, like, if you're desperate, after war there was no food, so there was crumbs people wouldn't waste. They would then they would eat that. Still some my grandfather, when he came out of imprisonment or something of the Second World War, first slice of bread, he was like, oh, no wasting these crumbs. He was like, see how kind of desperate then the soul then is. This kind of example of small happiness of this world, of something and it doesn't really fulfill much, and just like just think, there's like the mind kind of makes these crumbs will satisfy me or something, but they won't. You need like not just bread, even that's not enough. It won't satisfy you. It's just temporarily something, and it's again like maybe sometimes you eat too much, you'll get even some cramps, or gas, or disease, or it's never kind of right. It's always something. Just get it right, and of course you have this body, and you get this bodily problems, and you kind of have to figure out your body to be able to be at ease and to be happy within the body. But that's really difficult. So it's better to go directly, go to transcendental knowledge, and then to go to transcendental world and develop parabhakti and be happy in this world and in the next one, and attain Krishna Prem. So we stop here. Thank you, everyone. We are saying Hare Krishna and Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.